Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Recently, the world has been convulsed with the targeted killing of Qasem Soleimani, and it's impossible to exaggerate the importance of the elimination of Iranian Al-Quds leader, the commander and number two person in the hierarchy of Iran. He was killed by an airstrike which targeted him at the Baghdad airport, where he had no business to be. He was, at that time, directing operations against U.S. Embassy, and his henchman, Abu Mahdi, was with him. Both of them were killed at the same time. But before we decide or imagine or forecast what the results would be, it's worth recalling the sequence of events. The killing on the Thursday of IRGC Kurds commander outside Baghdad by a US MQ-9 Reaper drone firing a Hellfire missile is the latest escalation, and it began with the killing of an American contractor by the Iran-supported Hezbollah militia on December 27. So this killing is in fact a direct result of killing of a US citizen. And this in turn has led to militia and other pro-Iran elements storming into Baghdad Green Zone, beginning a violent demonstration, later on firing two rockets, then attacking Somalia. And as a matter of fact, when the US Embassy was surrounded by the demonstrator, I was reminded of what happened in 1979 in Iran. The US killing of Soleimani was later taken to be what it was, a revenge for killing a US citizen. Now let's be very clear. Iran has been undertaking all actions which are against American interests. It has been moving aggressively in Gulf of Hormuz. It has been attacking the vital installations. It wiped out 27 out of 29 oil wells in Saudi Arabia, and nothing was done. But there was a ground rule laid down very clearly that no American human life will be undertaken. This rule, undeclared but noted by a number of analysts, including myself, that the Iranian regime was apparently to be permitted by Washington to strike at US interests, allies, and even hardware with impunity, but could not harm the US citizens. And they crossed the red line on December 27. They failed to abide by this rule. And naturally, the action had to be taken. That killing on December 27 set in motion the series of events culminating in the death of Soleimani. And it obligated now Iran to respond, and doing so, the regime before is delivered. It shouts a lot and it says that it will take revenge. But it's exponentially weaker than United States on the conventional military level. Its best option is asymmetrical warfare. And in this, basically, Soleimani and his colleagues provide Iran with a variety of options. Obviously, US maintains about 5,000 military personnel in Iraq and about 1,000 in Libya. Iran has missiles and rockets deployed and tens of thousands of the available personnel in both the countries, so they can harm military personnel there. It has struck in the past, but the assassination of Soleimani has not removed that capability. They have that capability logistically, operationally. A similar strike to one that commenced this round of escalation. That's possible to organize, but would they do it? Iran has started a broad popular and political campaign intending to culminate in a demand by the government of Iraq for the withdrawal of US forces. Even Iraq parliament passed a resolution that US military should leave. Badr organization commander Hadi al-Amati, in a statement following US operations, called for such a resolution, and this resolution has been passed. But the events of the summer showed that Tehran was capable of hitting US allied targets in the Gulf waterways, the state of Hormuz, Bab of Mandab, on the soil of Saudi Arabia, UAE. Now, let's not forget that Iranian guards by the Lesbian Abdullah proxy have a network in Europe, they have a network in North and South Africa, in South and East Asia. It's an octopus like everywhere. So they can plan operations anywhere in the world. Physically, it's not impossible for them to do, but that's not the issue. The biggest dilemma of Iran is that the current escalation is already a direct departure from Iraq's set of ground rules, which were not explicitly but tacitly accepted. So, if the Iranian response appears to be returned to the observance of those rules, then even if it's successful, it will be projected as a sign of weakness. Without killing, returned by killing, is not acceptable. You see, the latest example, or rather, the latest sign of the desire for revenge was the hoisting the red flag on the mosque. This has been done for the first time in the history. It was done when Ali was killed at Karbala and the red flag was raised. That till the blood is taken, revenge by blood, the flag would not come down. Iran has raised the flag again. So, life for life, limb for limb, eye for eye. That's a people. But if they choose to adopt the course that would be seen as proportionate to the loss of Soleimani, namely the killing of some agency by a US citizen, then it's quite possible that the US would escalate where Iran would not be able to compete. And Trump has been very clear in my talks with the people in White House. They are prepared despite the opposition by the House of Representatives. And Iran is trying its level best to its proxies. The House of Representatives passes a law that the president cannot take any aggressive action without the permission of the House. But then, by the time the discussion takes place and escalation takes place, the president might order to do something. Let's not forget that this dilemma of Iran is based on certain realities of life and they cannot be recognized. In the last 2 years, Trump has very clearly shown that he is not interested in a major re-engagement in the Middle East. And he doesn't want a conflict in the blood-stained sand as he referred to the region. Trump's statement following the killing of Soleimani confirmed this impression. So, until and unless Iran wants to commit harakiri, they would not indulge in killing US citizens. And the deterrent power and the ability to project strength has been damaged, and it will be damaged further if Americans' lives are not taken. So the only path that can adequately avenge the loss means potentially losing everything in both direct confrontation with the USA. Would Iran do so? It is now Iran's move. Iran has been placed with no easy options. The decision has to be taken. Now, one thing you have got to ensure is that the day US launched a series of 5 year strikes in Iran and Syria that killed 25 members of Irani backed militia of Hezbollah, taking off Soleimani has brought that on a different level. Now, there's a difference. Earlier, USA had killed Osama as well as Baghdadi. But here, killing Soleimani is in a different, is that's a different ball game. Osama and Baghdadi were essentially stateless. They were non-state actors. They had vast resources, agreed. They had arms, they had wealth, they had people, but they had no state power. Here, Soleimani is the second most important person in Iranian hierarchy, and the state is there at his back. Osama's killing was a killing of a single terrorist whom nobody could support openly. Even those countries which supported him, like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, would not oppose the killing because he was not backed by state, being a non-state actor. But here, there is a difference. Now, Soleimani himself had launched countless military operations against USA, against Israel, against Saudi Arabia, and others. He was responsible for hundreds of American deaths in Iraq. He was the architect of Iran's territorial drive for regional incursion and hegemony. And Mahdi was his key military player responsible for Iranian backed militias, including Hezbollah and Lebanon. So President Trump had weakened Iran already by reimposing sanctions. This in itself had helped to inspire the brave Iranian protesters. Now, Soleimani's killing is further going to fuel the fires of protest. Sorry. The killing may encourage further destabilizing demonstrations, not only Iran, but also in Lebanon and Iraq. As a matter of fact, there is an upsurge in popular mind against Iranian militia and Shia caliphs. Shia caliphs are responsible for fanatical religious oppression of the people. That oppression people don't like. So there would be a reaction to that. But they say that even a mortally wounded serpent can still cause death and destruction. So is America and Israel are now braced for Iran to retaliate. Let's be very clear. These are the two countries which will bear the brunt. Since the middle of the last year, it has been escalating its aggression in the region, firing rockets at US bases, attacking oil tankers in the regional waters, crippling Saudi Arabia's most critical oil installation. So they will use their malign power to retaliate. Unfortunately, there are some people in USA, Democrats and others, and so-called anti-war people who cannot understand the implication. And whatever now happened, one thing is clear that Trump has achieved, which is of immense and incalculable benefit for America. He has got Iran off on its knees and USA off its knees. You remember, President Carter was paralyzed by the 444-day Iran hostage crisis. President Clinton vacillated between sanctions against Iran and appeasement. He was infamously, Obama did a deal with the regime and they got more than $1 billion. So they were allowed to keep their nuclear weapons after a 10-year delay, and the millions of dollars were funneled into Iran to finance. And what was the result of that finance? Iran continued terrorist attacks regional aggression, and genocidal agenda against Israel. Faced with the attacks on the American assets, Carter ran away with his tail tucked between his legs. Clinton prevaricated, didn't take any action, procrastinated. Obama actually funded them, but Trump has ruthlessly, decisively killed the attack. America is, in fact, now back as a force to reckon with. It's not Make America Great Again, which was just a symbol on the hats. It has been proved to be correct. America has become great again. I know the journalists are saying that America is isolated, that Europe is not supporting, but in fact, America has proved that it's capable of safeguarding its citizens. Trump is called an isolationist. He doesn't want to get involved in the foreign wars. But when the American interests are directly attacked, as we have seen here, then he is ferocious in response, and that is a sign of a patriotic leader. We have got to see now what is going to happen to the terrible evil of Iranian Islamic revolution that will enter a new phase. Would it continue its march of oppression? As the signs are today, there is a proverb, I think, he whom God wants to destroy, he makes him mad first. Iranians are running amok. Options are limited, but I feel that it's more sound and fury, that there'll be rocket attacks, there'll be some terror attacks, but they will not like to engage in open war. If they do so, it will mean only annihilation, not of Iran only, not of Middle East only, but maybe of the whole world. We are standing on the edge of a precipice. Let's see what happens. Thank you.